Hello and welcome to Game Time and Narcissu. I was supposed to play, I played Goat Simulator, like the Goat C DLC. Then I managed to delete my face cam. I don't want to play it again because it ruins everything. So if you wanted to see that, you can probably wait for a while. Like I'm gonna take some days away from it anyway. But so it's coming probably later, but I don't want to replay it and pretend like I don't know what's going on, like be trying to fake the same things that I did last time, like trying to duplicate it or something. So I just found this game on Steam, and I'm not a big fan of anime in general. I just thought to do something else. So this is okay. Play. Oh. Select title. What? Is this really? Okay, is this the first? I don't know what this is. I'm just gonna take this. Voiced. Okay, let's just do that. On the blithely bright day. Okay. Am I doing something now? Okay. 2001. Okay. What the fuck is this? Spring 1996. Okay. True, I wasn't very healthy ever since I was a child. Even so, I attended elementary school like all the others, and during summer break I often played until I was entirely tamed. June, short after my enter into middle school. The day after I ordered a swimsuit for us next month. My first. Okay. On the day just before the first semester midterms, on the day when the first dropped rain was a cloudy cold, falling from amidst and pure white as the overcast sky. Of course, the first time it happened, all the classmates came to visit me almost every day, and when I was released, they even came to my house on a weekly to play. But that was only the first time around. Autumn into winter, winter into spring. A vicious circle, hospitalization, release, clinics, and hospitalization again. And before I knew it, even the classmates once called me friends turned into okay, and then into strangers. As if it was ever changing of seasons, I was being erased from their collective memory. It seems that all of those normal people, my very existence has been unpleasant fact. And so looks like I have been erased. It's been so many seasons, so many white overcast shadows, without the want or need to converse with anybody. So that matter, my English textbook never changed from it, as first year mid-school student before the first terms. That is where my time seems to come to an end. Stage now. Early summer 2004. 8 years later. Early summer 2004. Summer. Flowing sweat. A gigantic electric scoreboard in a driver's license examination facility. Lift all at once. My eyes and everyone else's look at our respectful numbers. 237, 237, and some 8-kilometer lift text. Sure enough, my examination number was shining in the midst. A nearly empty train car, perhaps thanks to the beautiful afternoon. Almost alone in the train car, I was heading back home from the exhibition hall. My left hand held a new traffic regulation handbook, and in my breast pocket held my brand new driver license. So now I got the license as well. I muted somewhat happily, but there were no strange feelings behind it. I never participated, wanted to drive a car. I never partially had any motive for it. I was just my collector and a technical institute both recommended that I at least get driver license. That night, when I told my parents I got my license, the reply was, "I see." And then I asked if I could borrow their car just for a test run. They instantly and curtly said just one thing: no. While I didn't really want to drive the car or anything, the response was all too explain. Those were my parents for you. The next day, I awoke with chest pains and went to the hospital. Sickness, I gently had nothing to do with each other, which is easily found in the ER waiting room to be unbearably boring. And just when I thought they were through examining me, they ordered the X-ray of some blood tests. Then they had left, and again I was left waiting for a long time. I already polished off 3 volumes of Shonen Jump, and I was about to start on the 4th when they admitted me to the hospital right then and there, and seemed that my new license, which still laid snugly in my breast pocket, would have to wait for a long time for this turn to come. This is really depressing. Autumn 2004. Right around when all the too noisy cardiacs has finally gone silent, I once again find myself in the hospital. As per usual, of course, it wasn't as if I'd been there the entire time. I came and went. A future circle. My first surgery was a month before. After that, I started doing 5 minutes commute to from the hospital by moped. And from on there, I was hospitalized, discharged, ordered to clinic, and hospitalized again and again and again. While I still have no clue what PET and ERISA stood for, is no time at all. Several months has been already passed as my capacity disgraced, my medications increased. I could feel my own physical strength and boulder away. I kept imagining that my legs were getting thinner, but the needle of the weight scale rudely informed me. It's not just you imagining. And yet I kept looking on myself with with distance in chest, as if I were happening to somebody else entirely, as if he was looking at the scene on the TV, or that like my mind could not grasp what just suddenly happened to my body. Nothing within me was telling me that this was real at all. But then why? Even though it was all happening to me, I kept looking on it. I kept looking on it as if it were happening to someone else far away. Winter 2004. A day in winter, around the Christmas trees had vanished from the streets. I was discharged home as a kind of year-end treat. It seemed like seems like an exercise in total transmission, but still it made me slightly happy. I traveled back to the home I had not seen in a long time in the midst of the freezing rain. Strangely enough, my entire family was there. My parents, who had never much to talk about to me, came out to meet me, and with terribly still smiles. And my little sister, with whom we never had a pleasant word, has made my favorite cream stew and fried chimps just for me. They made me sit down at the table. They peeled tangerines for me. They were cruelly kind. It was an impressive display. At this point, a little thought occurred to me about my new driver license, which all still stuffed away in my pocket. That perhaps things would end for the license without it ever having known any use. And suddenly, by the tree of stalactite, straightened smiles, I kept that enough, as I was someone else's business, with this passion, ambivalent, guilty, and total disinterest. January 2005. A new year began, and I returned to the hospital. But on this day, instead of the usual 4F room, I ended up in a conference room of sorts. They took me there. And then my father and the doctor had a little talk. I joined in as well. They talked to me. So this was so-called announcement. They said that in a terrible standard fashion, but they told me that I was going to die. I see. That was my only reply. I had no other words. It was the only thing I have left in my mouth from beginning to end. And the doctor's ballpoint pens threw across the paper as its response to my words. Those were probably hospicide enrollment produces business-like to the last. My father was the same. So it's this simple. So the only real thought I had that day, I was transferred from 4F to 7F, from a 6-person room to a private room. I was a little different from the other ward, this 7F. First of all, the floor was sparkling clean, And second of all, the ceiling was higher than I ever seen it. The room was very nice. I had larger windows from which the warm daylight streamed in as by design. But the windows only opened a little. I tested them out, and my head would just barely fit out of them. The colors of my ID bracelet had changed as well. The bracelet that I had worn ever was the first hospitalization, the one that I had on my name, blood type recorded on it. Its color had now changed from blue to white. A high ceiling, a white vinyl bracelet, a window that would not open more than 15 centimeters. The TV programs celebrating the New Year were still playing when I was transferred to this 7F. And it was at the dawn of the very year that I met her for the very first time.
Narcissus.
The fuck?
冬7回
Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point there. I don't want to make this too long. This game is really sad. I didn't know that was like... I read that it was something about depression and stuff, but this is really heavy. Sorry about me not able to read, but I put myself so much into it, so like I got a little bit teary-eyed, to be honest. Oh, that's awkward, but so that's probably why I like really got bad at the end too, because I was so focused on the story and I got really overwhelmed. So thanks for watching, and I will continue this series, and I will see you next time. Bye.